Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 7 of Imai's Maru. Scale is 1 to 350. In this part, I'm going to be concentrating on the masts. So I'm going to be assembling them and placing them on the deck. So let's jump into this and see how I get on. Before I get onto the mast, however, there's one or two little things I've got to do on the deck first. And that is to begin with is to place the side panels onto the main cabin area. Now these go on pretty much the same way as the other panels. They just go directly onto the main inner structure. They're all a standard fit, and I didn't have any problems with lining these up. You shouldn't have any problem, but if you do, just moving them around slightly to line them up, but it would be perfectly okay. But they should just slot in without any problems. I decided to put in the two end panels before the side panels went in. This was just for ease of maneuverability if I had to move them around. I didn't. As I said, the fit was really good. I was saying that you've got to be careful not to move the parts like I just did while fitting them. But again, it was just a matter of squeezing them together, and it was okay. Next to go on is the housing for the ship wheel. And there's quite a big location, a housing for this to sit into. It should just slot in. Just make sure you get rid of any of the burrs on the plastic where it joins on the sprue, because this will obviously affect the position of it if it's not completely removed. And once it was on, I'm just going to tidy up a little bit of plate. I noticed I had a little bit of chipping that I didn't want on the top of it, so I'm just addressing that. And that's with Mr. Hobby H24 Gloss Orange Yellow. So next is to assemble the mast. The mast assembly is very easy. First of all, I'm just fitting the mast cross tree. That's the lower part that I'm placing on now. The top gallant mast, that's the black part of the mast. This is already molded onto the mast, so you don't have to assemble that. A lot of the model kits you do have to assemble this part of the mast, but this particular one you don't. It's all comes in one piece. Now the mast cross tree only fits in one way, but there is obviously an up and down side to it, and they're quite a flimsy piece of plastic, so don't apply too much pressure on it or you can end up snapping it. I almost did. And make sure you get them on the right way around as well. If you're not sure, have a look at the instructions, because it's quite easy enough to get these placed on in the opposite direction that they should actually be on. Now they should just clip onto the mast without too much fuss, but as I said, do not apply too much pressure or you'll end up snapping them. You also have to fit the top mast cap. That's the cross tree at the bottom. Same thing, just smaller at the top, just where the top gallant mast joins up. So again, this one's actually quite easier to fit because you've got the bottom one as a template to marry up to get them all lined up. But it is worth checking the instructions to make sure you do get them in the right position and the right direction. The last mast, the spanker, or sometimes known as the jigger mast, only has the one cross tree on it. Don't be tempted to think, oh, there needs to be another one. There's only one on it. Next to go on are the rails that hold the shrouds. There's 8 in total to put on. Be careful of which ones are going where. They should only go in one way as well. There's a front and back to these, so you want to make sure that you are putting them in the proper area and pointing it the right way. It's actually very easy to get these placed in the wrong way around, and again it just affects the balance and the look of the ship. Now the masts are in there, but they're not actually attached. I've just put them in as a guide so that I know how they should look. Also, I need the masts in there before I make the shrouds, because I need a measurement. So what I'm doing is I'm just measuring from the rail up to the mast cross tree to get the length I require to make these shrouds. That's why I've dry fitted the mast at this point. Now I can fit the guardrails for the mast, and I'm just snipping off the excess plastic of the one that had broken. So the little stretch sprue that I explained in the other video, that's all dry, so it's time to snip that off and just place it into its location. Now you shouldn't have any problems fitting these, they just fit in easily enough. Now stupidly, and I'll say stupidly because it's again one of my little screw ups, the reason why I didn't put these in straight away in the instructions tells me because I was going to be attaching a bit of rigging to them. I forgot to do this. It completely went out my mind. I was just carrying on with the build, and I placed them in without attaching the rigging. All it means is it makes my rigging slightly more difficult down the line as such, excuse the pun. But you know, the whole reason was to leaving these off at this until this point was so I could attach a little bit of the rigging to it. Never mind. But there's three in total to attachers. The only one had broken on the sprue. It was already like that when I opened up the packet, so it's just one of these things, and it was an easy fix. And I'm just putting in the last of the shroud rails in now as well. So it's just about ready to receive the mast now. I'm just making slight adjustments to make sure everything is secured properly. So it's now time to fit the mast. The first mast I'm fitting is the foremast, and as the name suggests, that's the one at the front of the ship or the bow. The location points are really nice for it. Make sure you have plenty of cement inside the housing before placing them in, because these are going to be holding a lot of tension when they go in. The next one is the main mast. That's the main middle one. It's going in. Again, no problems with it. It just fits right in. The third one I'm placing in, that's the mizzen mast. That's the one near the rear of the ship or the aft of the ship. And then, of course, we've got the last one going in, and that's the jigger or spanker mast, depending on your terminology on that. And that differentiates with there's a boom that goes on the diagonal when that gets fitted, if you're not sure which one it is. It's crucial to get these fitted all in a straight line facing the one direction. It sounds obvious, but there is a very good reason for that. And that's all to do with the yard arms when I put them in, but I'll go into that as I'm placing them in. First of all, there's a little bit of work to do on this upper deck part here. This is separate from the other decks because it goes on a slightly raised area. So first of all, the side panels are going into the main structure. Now the cabin for this is actually a two-level cabin, so just be aware of that. It's a strange shape. It's just how it's designed to be built on the kit. Now I should point out as well, once this is built, I will not be placing it directly onto the ship. For now, there's a couple of bits and pieces that I have to do to the ship before I place this part of the decking on. But so this is just a prep work before it all goes in. And once the side panels are in, there's a little capsule that goes on the roof of the deck area here. And in the front, there's a little compartment thing goes on it. I would imagine it's a skylight or a grate for the engine room or something. I don't know. Next is the front facing panel. Now, don't be afraid thinking, oh, there's a big hole in the floor. There's another part that goes underneath it, but you have to place this front panel on first. And then the rear panel goes on to close off the top part of the cabin. Then once it's on, I'm just going to take the opportunity to paint one or two little bits and pieces on it. Just to do it now, it just makes more sense than waiting until later on, where it'll be more difficult to get to these parts. So the only main structure to be painted outright is the forward little structure here, and that's with the Mr. Hobby H24 gloss orange yellow. So as you know by now, that's the main colour of the structure throughout the ship. So the last thing to go on is the deck part. You can see the roof, but there's a slight gap there. That's meant to be got there, and this deck gets fitted underneath. Don't be tempted to try and fit it before you put the panel on, because it can be very, very tricky. Of course, that wasn't the last part. The last part is of the main structure is the roof. Then there's a little light goes on top of that. Well, I think it's a light. It may not be, but it's hard to tell with the moulding what exactly it is. Could be a little captain, I'm not sure. So as I'm fitting it, this is where I'll end part 7. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. If you subscribe to the channel, please do so. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. And of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.